So we stay talking about the topic of EV, electric vehicles, and we move to trucks. So don't run away, because my next guest for the Fireside Chat is the co-founder and executive chairman of Decade Energy. And not only that, he's also the founder of Volta Trucks. Welcome on stage, Carl-Magnus Norden.
Hear me?
Hello, yes?
Okay, very
Can we
good.
all hear Carl-Magnus?
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice
Welcome.
being here and nice seeing you in real life. So,
Yes, same.
yeah.
We had a pre-call before, so we spoke via the screen.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in your journey. Could you please start by just explaining how you came up, because you're the founder of Volta Trucks. Maybe you quickly explain what Volta Trucks does, how you founded it, and then also how this led you to co-found Decade Energy.
Yeah, no, well, just to present myself, I started a company called Volta Trucks. It's about 6 years ago now, but the idea was more starting, I would say, 2016 or something like that. 2016, 1st of April, Elon Musk launched the Model 3, which was basically, I think, the sea change in electric cars anyway. Before that, yes, there have been some efforts and so on, but they were relatively minor. But as we all know, the Model 3 got, I think, a few 100,000 orders in a few weeks' time for a car that didn't exist. So to me, that was really a kind of a signal. Here is something happening. Here is a change that we really is starting, and a trend. And of course, very early on, even already in September 16, most of the car industry came to Paris and said they should go electric. On the truck side, almost nobody said anything. It's still 2018, actually, very few of the truck companies believed in electrification. So, but of course, trucks is a very big polluter, and they are driving in cities, especially distribution trucks. So my thinking was, if nobody else is doing it, I have to do it. So we started the company 2019, as I said. We got the first funding, and then we build an electric truck from scratch, which is different actually from all the trucks you still see, electric trucks. They are built on another design. They're built on a design for a diesel truck, which is quite a big difference actually, because if you really use the electric drivetrain, you have other advantages which we try to capture. It became a much safer truck. This was a distribution truck, so going into the cities, etc. But anyway, so but now I'm very happy to say that all the big OEMs, all the big truck manufacturers are really serious about electrification. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to see Renault in Lyon, but it goes for all of the big ones: Renault, Volvo, Daimler, Scania, MAN. All of them are serious. All of them have very firm plans for what percentage of electrification they should have by 2030. About 35% of the sales. It's also pushed a little bit by EU legislation, but my firm belief is that all of them are very serious. They want to go electric, and they want to go reduce the CO2 emissions. Of course, they are also looking at China. I came back from China a month ago. In Shenzhen, as you maybe know, all the buses, all the taxis, all the scooters, at least half the cars and almost all the trucks are electric. So that it can be done is already proven. It's just for us to adjust and accelerate.
Why do you think is it that we're slower in Europe, and why is it not that we are faster already in the incorporation of
Well,
EV trucks?
I think it's obviously, I mean, Europe is very democratic, so there are a lot of people having an opinion. There is an inertia for all new technology. So even the big OEMs today, they have to convince their own personnel, they have to retool their plants, they have to obviously train all their service people all over the networks. They have to get their supply chain in order for electric. There is different things, difficult things to adjust. Why it's not going faster? It also has so far been a more expensive technology. Yes, we of course try to tell to the market that the total cost of ownership is on par or maybe lower, but the sticker price has been maybe twice as high as a diesel truck. It's difficult. Somebody mentioned before here that a lot of the trucks you see on the road here, the average age of a truck in Europe is more than 12 years. So basically half of them are already depreciated. So the only thing they have is running costs, which is obviously in an industry with small margins, that is very important. But to me, the trend is already going. The problem is how do we get all the different stakeholders together to work in the same direction. And somebody mentioned here there are a lot of inefficiencies in the systems, etc. I think that's the trick. How do we bring people together? I think the willingness is all over. So it's not a problem that people sort of loving diesel and, you know, I like to pollute the nature and I like my children to grow up in a bad environment, etc. Nobody is that. It's just the inertia of getting it together and bringing people together.
Yeah, it's these legacy systems like so often,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I would also love to talk with you about money, so investments. You have 2 impact investors invested in your company. Was this a deliberate choice to go with impact investors, or how did this come about?
I think, well, that's of course taking us to the second phase in my journey in electrification, which is starting Decade Energy. Yeah. And the idea with Decade Energy was when I saw everybody, all the truck manufacturers going there, and I'm convinced that in a couple of years' time, somewhere there, 26, 27, it will be cheaper to buy an electric truck than a diesel truck. And when we come to that stage, obviously nobody wants to go stay on an old technology, fossil fuel. So to me, what will be the bottleneck in the future is to charging. We talked about the charging for cars. Today you have fixed part of that, and when the next surge comes, it will be a shortage again. It will go like this. But for trucks, it's more unique. Some of them want to charge along the motorways. And people estimate about 20% will be do on the motorways. Most of them will do it in the depots. And the depots today have very little demand for electricity. So the problem is more to bring the electricity, enough electricity to the grid connections, etc., to the depots where the trucks are parked or where they load or offload. So that is our vision, is that will be the bottleneck. So Decade Energy, we try to mitigate that, foresee the surge in electric trucks and make the customers or the people driving trucks better prepared.
Yeah. And about the impact investors, so...
when it comes to, for me, that became almost natural, I would say, that, I mean, we have a vision, we have a mission, and we want to associate ourselves with people who has the same vision and mission for going forward. And obviously we are, I mean, the CO2 reductions, the stopping global warming, etc., is important for any impact investor. I think in our pitch today is what has happened over the last couple of months almost, obviously with defense, European defense, resilience of the systems, the energy systems, resilience of the transport systems. All these things I think are coming even higher up on the agenda today, which I think is very good. Because that if we go, and the only way is renewables for Europe. Europe imports fossil fuel for 375 billion euro a year. So if we could bring that down, somebody said a couple of billion is a lot of money. Yes, it's a lot of money, but it's a fraction of what we spend on fossil fuels. And if we can bring that down, if we can do, obviously electrify as quickly as possible, we will have a much more resilient system. And that's super important for defense.
Yeah, so talking about defense, which is the current geopolitical situation that kind of really raised the topic of defense a bit more. And you said also in our pre-call, from a defense point of view, we should go electric.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as I said, if you are dependent on oil and gas, Europe doesn't produce any oil and gas. So we are depending on people providing us with that all the time. We saw when the Russians cut the gas pipeline, etc. It can happen overnight. Even import of oil is obviously having come by ships to us. So we have a dependence that is constant from other people. If we went as much as possible renewable, obviously the energy is produced locally. So, and if we then, that is on the supply side. On the demand side, if we then go electric with all the vehicles, we produce it locally, we have a much more resilient system. And what we are proposing then, what we're working a lot right on now, is installing battery storage. So if you have a battery storage in your house, if you have a solar cells on your roof and you have a battery storage and you have an electric vehicle in your garage, even if somebody cuts the electricity tomorrow, you could stay up, basically. It's the same thing with the transport system, distribution system. If you have storage in the depots, you can continue doing deliveries, etc., over a period of time. If you then generate locally as well by solar or wind, obviously you can continue going. And I think we are, from a defense point of view, especially in the bigger cities, if we wouldn't have any transport going into the Paris anymore from the depots across, obviously people would almost start starving in a week's time or something like that. So it's super important.
Let's stick with the topic of energy independence for Europe a little bit more. So do you think that the European countries are moving fast enough right now? Or what needs to happen that we can really reach this energy independence soon?
I don't think we are moving fast enough, obviously, but I think there is a lot of willingness, and I think it has come higher up on the agenda. I think we have had this ambivalence between, okay, do we want to, I mean, all renewables are produced in China. It's a fact. And if Europe should build up the same supply chain and the same manufacturing, etc., would take us years. So if we want to have a short-term solution, we just have to say China is the supplier. The good thing for us is that the prices are going down. Chinese have overproduction already of everything renewables, batteries, etc. And the US are stopping imports. So obviously we will have more and lower prices in the future. And personally, I think we just have to say thank you and buy as much as possible and install as much as possible as quickly as we can. So I think there is a relatively easy solution short term to accelerate this. And I think that we will also, the energy price we pay will also be reduced. I mean, a big problem for the European industry is that the energy in Europe costs 3 times more than in China or in the US. So a lot of industries are not competitive due to that. So we have to, just to stay in the game, we have to reduce our costs. We have to go renewable as quickly as possible.
So what is your vision for the European mobility and transport sector for the next 5 to 10 years? So what would be your dream for the mobility sector?
I think it's, I mean, as I said before about trucks, when we come to the tipping point that an electric vehicle is cheaper than a diesel vehicle, nobody will buy the old stuff. Now even, I mean, there has always been this charging time has been something car owners talked about. Last week, BYD and CATL came out and said they can charge a car in 5 minutes, so faster than almost than you do at the normal petrol station. And prices, I mean, obviously of Chinese, they are the leaders in all this. Prices are coming down dramatically. So when we reach that tipping point, if we don't make it too complicated, almost too many motion regulations, etc., I think it will come automatically. And then if you ask about timing, I think by 2030 we will be there. I think the next couple of years will, I mean, a lot is happening right now. 2020, this year, 26 is maybe a little bit slower, but it will be exponential. But then the bottleneck will be charging and enough electricity in the right places.
And what is for Decade Energy, what is your concrete next step right now? Maybe also for this year, what you're excited about?
Well, I'm excited about the, we started the company about a year ago. We did a slight pivot, I would say, 5 months ago. Because we have this vision of the depot of the future. A depot of the future should be an electric truck, should be obviously chargers, should be PV on the roof, should be a battery storage, and should be grid connection. And we are developing a software that integrates all these data streams, so make it as efficient as possible. We thought that we should start on the truck side, the market we know, the chargers, etc. But we felt that the market was not really there yet. So we could instead start on the BESS side, or the battery storage side, which is where we now are offering basically to invest and take the investments, etc., for the grid connection and the battery storage. The good thing is that the energy markets or the flexibility markets make us being able to pay for that, so our customers can be prepared when the trucks are coming. I think that's super exciting. We have a very good response from the market, and now it's scaling, hiring more people.
Sounds amazing. Unfortunately, our time is already up, but I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
And it's amazing what you're doing with Decade Energy, and yeah. So, let's see what the future holds.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
The future is bright.
Yeah, the future is bright. Let's end it with that. Thank you so much.